Honda Civic Type R has always been the king of front-wheel drive performance, but now Acura has stepped in with their own version of that same formula. Acura has retuned the engine, reshaped nearly every panel in front of the windshield, and even given it a louder and more aggressive exhaust than its track-focused sibling. It's got more power than the Civic Type R, wider hips, and still has that razor-sharp cornering. I'm Ari from Boost Life, and this is the Acura Integra Type S. On the outside of the Type S, there is a lot going on. Starting off with this hood vent, which is functional for heat extraction. Moving on to this giant grille, which allows for the pulling of 170% more air than the base model Integra. Now, you also have this front lip and these integrated brake ducts. What's crazy is that inside of these brake ducts are actually canards, the same technology you find sticking out of a bumper of a race car. And that's why this car doesn't have the same vents behind the front wheels that the Type R does. The canards on the inside here serve the same purpose, so you don't lose any of the front aero the Type R has. My absolute favorite part about the exterior of this car are the fenders. I think they look way better than the Type R's squared fenders. The round fenders just does it for me. The fronts are 3.5 inches wider than the base Integra, and they are stamped in, whereas the rears are 2 inches wider than the base, and they are tacked on to save money. The rocker panels are also flared, which is pretty cool. Moving on to the wheels and brakes. These are 19-inch wheels, and they are actually bigger than the A-Specs 18-inch wheels, but they are actually lighter. And they come in two different colors. You have the gray, like you see here, or copper, which is kind of a gold bronze color. The brakes are the same as the ones on the Type R. However, they say Acura instead of Brembo, and then Brembo, little tiny Brembo right there. And allegedly, they're a different shade of red than the Type R. Acura has confirmed nor deny, but there you go. Now, the Integra Type S is supposed to be more luxurious than the Type R. However, the exhaust is actually more aggressive. Acura went ahead and removed one of the resonators, and it makes all the difference. One of the biggest complaints about a Type R from factory is that it's too quiet. The exhaust valves only open depending on throttle input, whereas on the Type S, they're always open, which means it sounds like this. Onto the interior of the Integra, it's much nicer than the Civic Type R because everything is clad in leather. But the first thing I gotta mention is that thank God it's still manual only. Moving on to the steering wheel, Acura says that it's unique to this car, and I gotta say I think it's the same steering wheel as the Civic Type R and the Civic Si. Same size, same steering wheel, just a different badge, and Type S badge at the bottom. The only key difference that I really see is that you have this perforated leather on the side. That's unique to the Integra from what I understand. On the steering wheel, you have a Type S badge, which you also have one on the shifter base, on the headrest, and on the floor mats. Heated seats come standard, and you can option for a heated steering wheel, as well as a Alcantara steering wheel, which turns your Integra Type S into a Porsche GT3. You can also option for a titanium shift knob, which is a reference to the old Type S or Integra Type R. There's also more sound deadening here than on the base Civic and Type R, so you get a nice quiet ride. The gauges are pretty simple until you go into Sport Plus mode and the needles turn yellow, which is a nice callback to the old JDM Integra Type R that also had yellow needles. In the back, the seats are no frills. There's no modern conveniences, there's no USB ports, there's no AC vents. It's very lackluster for a car of this class. But the trunk is huge compared to rivals like the Audi S3 and Mercedes CLA, making it way more practical. However, a big downside is the bumper sits a little high, so putting heavier things like a wheel or a jack or a person could be a pain. Both the Honda Civic Type R and Acura Integra Type S share the same engine, this K20 turbocharged 4-cylinder. However, the Type R makes 315 horsepower, and here Acura bumped it up slightly to make 320. Another key difference between the two engines is that The Acura makes all the power in the mid-range due to being more street-oriented, where the Type R makes the power in the higher end of the rev range due to being more track-focused. A cool detail about this engine bay is that the engine cover is finished in the same red as the one found on the NSX Type S, Acura's Halo car. One of the most interesting things to me about the design of the last Type R and the new Type R and this car is that the FK8 Type R, the last one, looks like a Gundam head. Like, the design is very aggressive and wild looking, and the new Type R, the current one, the FL5, looks more adult, grown up. But to me, the Type S is like the premium one. It looks the most mature, the most adult, and it feels that way. It's more comfortable than the Type R is. It's not as wild, but we've been driving it and it still delivers a lot of performance. You're not really losing much. The suspension on this car at the highest setting in Sport Plus is about the mid-range on the Type R, and I think that's a lot. I think you get great handling and great suspension out of this car still. The mid-range torque is fantastic. I really could not imagine all the power at the end like the Type R is supposed to be, because the mid-range torque is exactly where you want it for the street. And, you know, Acura knew this going in, and that's why they did it that way. It still handles great. You still have a lot of power. I mean, like, oh.
I get all the fucking camera like this. Jesus Christ.
My bad. If you'll notice in these corners, when I'm turning really, really hard, I'm like bracing myself. My body is like shifting over. The bolstering on these seats is not that good compared to the Type R. And again, if you track the car, you're gonna have issues where you're gonna be all over the place. Oh my God, it's so planted. Oh my God. Dude, it just comes right out of the corner. Dude, look at the rear end, like, just follows right through. It rotates so well. Wow. I heard good things about the handling. I wasn't expecting the rear end to just rotate so easily. This might be one of the best handling cars we've driven on the channel so far. Front-wheel drive cars can handle great. Okay, and this is no Honda, again, king of front-wheel drive performance. They really got that dialed in, and this is just, the brakes are good. I'm just scared to like really hammer on them. Oh my God, what the hell? We just turned traction control off, and we're going through some twisties, and I feel like this car is so much more like lively and playful with traction control off. I was surprised. Like, it was strictly business for a very long time, and once I turned traction control all the way off, it was just playful, and it just every corner it was just a smile on my face. Like, it just wants to play and wants you to keep on pushing and pushing. The car has so much grip. It's 265s all around, Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, and trust me, there's so much grip that you can utilize here. It's awesome. Downsides. This car is big. The new Civic Si is Accord-sized. The Type R is Accord-sized, and this car follows suit. It is a big car. It is wide. It is long. That is just the way modern cars are going, and this car suffers from that. It doesn't feel too bloated. Even on the road, on tight corners, it does not feel bloated. It does feel light on its feet. All things considered, it weighs about 3,100 pounds, I think. And it's not bad. Just like visually, it's huge. And you feel it. You feel it while you're driving, like it's a long car. I wouldn't call this car a luxury car. It's more like a Honda Civic Type R for a different demographic. The styling is more subdued. The ride is way more forgiving. It's way more reasonable and more rational than the Type R is without giving up the fun. And that's the best part about it. One of the reasons why I was so excited to drive the Integra Type S is because a few years ago when the base Integra came out, Acura held an event near my house that had autocross. And I got to autocross the stock base model Integra. And during that day, every hour they had top 2 times that would race each other. And then in the shootout between the other guy, I actually won, and I got a little Acura diecast. Ever since that day, I've been very excited to drive the Type S since they unveiled it, and I really do like it. I think this is one of the best all-around cars I've driven in a very long time. It really ticks all the boxes for me. I think this car is a great package all around, and maybe get one in the future. We'll see. And that's the Acura Integra Type S. It takes everything great about the Civic Type R, adds some refinement, wider fenders, more horsepower, and a sound that matches its attitude without losing that sharp handling. It really does feel like the grown-up version of Honda's hottest hatch. But here's the real question. Would you take this over a Civic Type R? Let us know in the comments below. Huge thank you to Henry for letting us borrow his Type S for the day. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I'm Ari from Boost Life, and we'll see you in the next one.